You're probably doing your to-do list wrong and it's quietly destroying your productivity. And if you're high performer, this is even worse for you because the more capable you are, the easier it is to stay busy and still not move forward. So if you've ever ended your day feeling like, man, you worked all day long and you still didn't move your business forward, then this video is absolutely for you. Because for most business professionals, the problem isn't their work ethic. It isn't their discipline, well, mostly. The problem is you're managing time instead of managing priorities. Now, let me tell you about a client of mine, and we'll call him Jason to protect the innocent. Jason is super sharp, man. He runs a solid business, team respects him. He's making money, real money. But every time we'd meet, he'd say the same thing. I'm slammed, right? And in fact, his go-to word was his calendar felt chaotic. So one day I asked him, walk me through your day. And what he showed me looked impressive, right? Dozens of tasks completed, emails handled, calls made, meetings held, lots of problems solved. But when we stepped back, there was just too little in his day that was actually moving the business forward. He was really maintaining more than building. And that's when it hit him. He didn't have a time problem. What he had was a priority problem. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Being busy is one of the easiest ways to avoid doing what actually matters. And this isn't new. In fact, this problem has been around for centuries. For instance, back in the early 1900s, there was this guy, maybe you've heard of him. His name is Andrew Carnegie. At that point, the richest man in the world. And he was running this steel company. And the efficiency expert approached him and said, hey, I want you to teach your executives a simple system. Have them use it for 3 months, and then just pay me what you think it's worth. Now, Carnegie, he's not a fool, so Carnegie agreed. Now, 3 months later, he sent her a check for $35,000, which today would be about $1.4 million. So I found the system in the autobiography of Mary Kay. Maybe you've heard of her too. And she said that she used the same system, the one that I'm about to share with you, every single day of her career. So it got to me thinking, if Andrew Carnegie, again at the time, the richest business person in the world, and Mary Kay, who at the time built the largest sales organization in the world, were using this system, then we all should be using this system. Now, what was this simple system worth, that kind of money? I've been using this version of the system for years. I teach it to my clients, and I call it the 6 must-dos. And before I explain it, let me say this. This is not a productivity hack. This is a decision-making system, of decision-making framework. So it's called the 6 must-dos, but it has 4 parts. Now, step 1 happens the day before, not the morning of, the day before. So I had another client, her name Sarah, who used to start her day just reacting. She would wake up, check messages, respond, put out fires. By 11 a.m., she was already behind. So I had her do one thing. Before she ended her day, write down 6 things she needed to do tomorrow. Only 6, not 10, not 20, 6. And here's the key. They had to be tied directly to her income goals, not admin work, not random tasks. Things that actually move the business forward. Actually, the 6 most important things in relationship to her reaching her income goals, because if everything's important, then nothing is. Step number 2 is where most people break the system. You need to rank them 1 through 6. Now, here's what often happens. People start second guessing themselves. Maybe this should be first. Maybe, I should do that instead. And now they're back into decision fatigue. So I tell them, once you choose the order, you're just done thinking. Because here's the hard truth. Most people struggle because they just keep redeciding all day, just bouncing from one thing to another and not really taking, action or traction on anything. All right. Step number 3 is where everything changes. You put them in your calendar, not as a list, but as an appointment. Now, I had a client once who told me, I just never get to my prospect. And so I asked him, well, when do you do it? He said, whenever I have time. And that's the problem. So we turned it to 10 to 12. We're prospecting. It's not optional. It's scheduled. And think about it this way. These are the 6 most important things related to reaching your income goals. So if you had a 10 a.m. appointment with a client that represented, let's say, a $100,000 sale. When 10 a.m. rolls around, are you like, maybe I'll show up and I don't feel like it right now? No, right? You're there. It's a $100,000 sale. Of course you're going to show up. So that's how you want to treat these 6 must-dos. Because again, they are the 6 most important things in relationship to meeting your income goals. And by the way, if you're listening to this and thinking, hey, man, I know I'm capable of more, but I can't seem to get consistent, that's exactly what I help people solve. Not just productivity, but building systems that actually scale your business without burning you out. And if you want help, applying this to your situation, there's a booking link in the description. You can schedule a free, it's just completely free strategy consultation, and we'll look at your business, your bottlenecks, and where you're getting stuck. All right, let's keep going because this next step is where everything either works or falls apart. Step number 4 is simple, but not easy. Can you guess what it is? Yes, you do them in the order as scheduled. That's it. Now, I had a client who told me, I just don't feel like doing certain tasks when the time comes up. And I said, that's exactly why they need to be scheduled, right? Because if you rely on how you feel, you're always going to default to what's easy. And your feelings are not a reliable system. Your calendar, though, is. Now, here's the thing. Real life happens. Things come up. Let's say you're working on must-do number 3, for instance, and something urgent comes up. Handle it. But then you come right back, right? The system becomes your GPS. You might take a detour, but it keeps bringing you back to where you said you were going. And by the way, check-in if something sold on Facebook Marketplace is not an emergency, so that doesn't count. Now, let's say you don't finish all 6 of your must-dos in a day. That's fine. Take what you didn't get done, carry it over, and rebuild your 6 for the next day. Now, important, the 2 that you didn't finish just don't go to the top of the list. They get put into the mix and ranked in terms of how important they are, right? Because this is a priority system. Also remember, it's always 6, never more, because once you go past 6, you're just back to noise. And that is, this isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters consistently. Now, there are 2 places where people struggle the most with the system. 1, trusting their list, and 2, trusting the order. I had a client once who rewrote his list 3 times before noon, and I told him, you're not lacking clarity, but you're avoiding taking action. It was an avoidance mechanism. And at some point, you have to trust your own decisions and just be aware of your blind spots. So if you're avoiding things, that's a blind spot. Now think about the 6 must-dos like this. If you're taking a trip, say you're going to LA, there are certain things you must do, right? You have to book a hotel room, you need to buy a plane ticket, need to actually get on the plane, etc. Now these aren't suggestions, they're requirements. That's what these 6 must-dos are. They're not must-dos in terms of pressure. We don't want it to be pressure. They're must-do in the sense that these are the things that are required to reach your goals. And here's what I've seen over and over again. The people who master this don't just get things done, they build momentum. And momentum is what actually scales a business. So if this resonated with you and you're serious about getting out of that cycle, just being busy but not progressing, and you realize that you need accountability like most people do, then go ahead and schedule a free strategy session with me. The link is in the description below, and I'll just walk you through exactly where you're stuck and how to fix it. And if you got value from this video today, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.